Ever wonder what it was really like to climb the ladder in the most legendary army of the ancient world? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to map out the entire 14-step journey, from a nobody in the mud all the way to the Emperor of Rome himself.
And this is where it all begins. Picture it. You're 17, you've left your village, and you've just signed on the dotted line. The recruiter promised you the world, steady pay, a plot of land, but here's the cold, hard truth. You are a nameless face in a sea of 5,000 men. You're a number. This is your new reality.
So this first part of your career, it's not about glory. It's about survival. It's about proving you can take the punishment, the endless marching, the sheer physical grind of being a legionary, long before anyone even thinks about giving you a shred of responsibility.
Let's just start with the commitment here. You haven't signed up for a weekend warrior gig. You've enlisted for a quarter of a century. Yeah, 25 years. For the next 2.5 decades, the Legion is your home, your family, your entire world. And every single day for those 25 years, you're carrying this. 60 pounds. That's your armor, your shield, your weapons, your food, your digging tools, everything. It's a constant, backbreaking weight that never, ever goes away. And where are you going with all that gear? Nowhere special. You're just marching. 20 miles today, 20 miles tomorrow, and 20 more the day after that. It's how they build discipline, grinding you down until all you know how to do is obey.
But what if you're not just tough, but you're smart? There's a loophole. See, the army doesn't just need grunts, it needs skilled labor. If you're a blacksmith, a medic, an engineer, you can become a specialist. You have the same rank, the same pay, but while everyone else is digging ditches in the rain, you're in a tent practicing your craft. Sometimes, the smartest way up is sideways.
Sooner or later, if you don't get killed, you get your first taste of real command. You're put in charge of your tent mates, the 8 guys you live with, and you're not just their boss, you're their lifeline. You're the one who keeps them out of trouble, and you're the one who has to make sure they get home alive.
All right, so you've survived the grunt work. You've proven you can lead a small team. Now the real climb begins. We're moving into the Centurionate, the professional officer corps, the grizzled veterans who were the absolute backbone of the Roman war machine. This is where a soldier truly becomes a commander. Now, what's really fascinating here is that there are 2 main paths to becoming a centurion. You could become the deputy, the optio. You're the heavy, the one enforcing discipline from the back while you wait for your shot. Or you could be the standard bearer, the signifer. In battle, you're a giant target, but in camp, you handle the payroll. And believe me, everyone is nice to the guy who holds the money.
And then finally, you make it. Centurion. You command 80 men. Your symbol of authority is the vetus, a simple vine staff that you're not afraid to use. You lead from the absolute front. You're the first one over the enemy wall, the first into the fight. Emperors and senators get all the credit, but let's be real. Rome was built by men like you.
This is it. The absolute peak for a man who started in the ranks. It's a title that rings with authority, a name that earns respect not just on the frontier, but all the way back in the Senate. This is as high as pure grit can take you.
As the first spear, you're the senior centurion in the entire legion of 5,000 men. You've seen it all, done it all, and outlasted them all. Remember those young, arrogant nobles who looked down on you? Yeah. Now, when you speak in the war council, they shut up and listen. Because your experience is the difference between victory and a massacre.
Okay, so now the game completely changes. We're stepping out of the trenches and into the command tent. We're entering the world of politics, where hardened veterans have to work alongside young aristocrats who are playing a totally different game. This is where merit meets money. So, let me introduce you to this guy, the junior tribune. He's maybe 23, his dad is a senator, and he's here because a little military service looks good on a resume before you run for office. He outranks guys who've been fighting for 20 years, but he has zero respect. The men just roll their eyes and wait for the real soldiers to fix his mistakes.
And this right here shows you the 2 parallel universes of the Roman command structure. On one side, you have the camp prefect. This guy started as a nobody 30 years ago and clawed his way up to 3rd in command. He knows everything. On the other side, the senior tribune, a rich kid 2nd in command after less than a year. One earned it with his life, the other was handed it at birth.
So you've finally done it. You're the legatus, the commander of an entire legion. Congratulations. But don't get comfortable. The politicians in Rome are just waiting for you to fail. Your own deputy, that noble kid, is sharpening his knives for your job. The centurions under you will only follow you if they think you're a winner. Oh, and every letter from the capital is demanding one thing: results. Now.
But why stop with just one legion? The ladder keeps going up. The final rungs aren't about commanding soldiers anymore. They're about ruling entire nations, and eventually, the whole known world. The scale of power here is just staggering.
You're provincial governor now, out on the frontier. You are Rome. You command multiple legions, you rule 1 million people, you are a king in all but name. But here's the catch. A man with that much power, with legions loyal to him, well, that makes the man on the throne very, very nervous. So the whole time you're wondering, does the emperor actually trust me, or is he just waiting for an excuse to get rid of me?
And at last, the top, the final rung, the emperor. Every single soldier in every legion across the entire empire has sworn a personal oath of loyalty directly to you. You don't just command the army, you are the army. You command everything.
But what's the price for all that power? Well, it's paranoia. Your wine is tasted for poison before you drink it. You sleep with armed bodyguards right outside your door. You start looking over your shoulder at your own people. The general winning too many battles, the governor who's a little too popular with the locals. You quickly learn the biggest threats aren't outside the empire, they're right there, inside your palace walls. Which brings us to the final haunting question, doesn't it? When you command everyone and everything, when every ambitious subordinate is a potential rival, who's left? Who can you possibly trust? The answer, and this is the chilling part, is probably no one.
And as you're sitting there, alone with your power, a marble bust of Julius Caesar stares back at you from the corner of the room. The first man to have this kind of power. The man who was stabbed 23 times, not by his enemies, but by men he thought were his friends. And that's the ultimate irony of the climb. You fight your whole life to get to the top, only to find that you're completely and terrifyingly alone.